my steel belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
NewsSpin is the best. Listen up. NewsSpin is the best. Me say listen up massive. NewsSpin is the best, yeah. Better than every talk show. The most conscious monitor talk show. All across the world. Check your signal, it blaze up your gay wave. NewsSpin on your radio, hear me now. Tune in the frequency, come along, Junior. NewsSpin a vice up the place. NewsSpin is the best. Listen to the massive. NewsSpin is the best. Knowledge must abound. NewsSpin is the best. And say more knock a play well. NewsSpin is the best. Papa Bonje by team, all man. A crappy land all across the globe. Echoes of voices we join in hand. Harmony rising with the afternoon sun. Come along, NewsSpin has begun. NewsSpin is the best. Better than every talk show. The most conscious monitor talk show in the world. The true facts about Sophia volcano, Sandy Beach, banana and Sneem Mango. Voices from the chat room, the capital Castries Hills. We feel you on Caribbean breeze. Teaching the truth, making hearts feel ease. Knowledge must open up every mind. Learn about your island home. We leave no one behind. NewsSpin for your radio. Pull up the volume, Jay. NewsSpin for your radio. Pull up your seats. Afternoon time. NewsSpin for your radio. Come along. NewsSpin for your radio. Let the message strong. Shouts out to Tim on the NewsSpin call, bridging gaps between the youth and the elders. We stand tall. Voices lift up high. Under one island sky we unify. NewsSpin is an education for all. From city streets to mountain stars. Learn your history, share your dreams. Together we light the world with our hymns. NewsSpin is the best. Better than every talk show. The most conscious monitor talk show in the world.
Well, it seemed like almost a week since we had our last NewsSpin program. It was on Thursday of last week. Friday was Good Friday, so we were not on, and we were also off on the Easter holiday Monday. So we're back on Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. NewsSpin is on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page, as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. We're going solo today because Jante is not feeling too well. So we're wishing her a speedy recovery, and hopefully she'll be back tomorrow to go through your comments in the chat rooms and to share your conversations with the audience. We have a lot to discuss between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon, and I'll be getting your input a little bit later. Straight into our NewsSpin news of the day. The NewsSpin news of the day, and it reads: Trump says a whole civilization will die tonight if Iran does not make a deal. Trump says a whole civilization will die tonight if Iran does not make a deal. Some 90 million people will be blown into smithereens. That's what he's suggesting. Because Iran would not kowtow, would not give in to his demands to open that strait where crude oil can be transported, or through which crude oil can be transported. And we're finding ourselves in this part of the world being very complacent. Primarily because as much as we watch the news, we listen to what is happening, it certainly has not, I don't think it has resonated with us. What is on the horizon? The possibility does exist that our Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for finance, once he realizes that the price of crude oil in the world market escalates, because that's what it may be right now at least $112 US a barrel, and that cost has to be passed on to the consumer. And the byproducts of oil, talking about one of those would be fertilizer. The increase in the cost of fertilizer would result or would necessitate that cost being passed on to you, because the farmers would need it. Comes at a high cost unless the government decides to subsidize. And then you have a high cost of agricultural produce. I don't know, we are very comfortable in St. Lucia right now because we just don't understand how that trickling effect can have dire consequences for us. And maybe we have to blame the authorities, you know. People in the Ministry of Commerce, our External Affairs Ministry, our Prime Minister, people don't like to hear that, you know. It's not preparing us for what seems like an inevitable fallout. And that will hurt us tremendously in our pockets. Now, knock on wood. If down the road, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, a month from now, it does not manifest in terms of the fallout, then what the authorities will do is to accuse yours truly of being negative, of preaching gloom and doom. But it is very important that we are prepared because a number of countries are being directly impacted right now. We're talking about a 4-day work week in a number of countries, including the Philippines, the high cost of petrol at the pump in a number of countries as we speak. So the effects are being delayed for us in this part of the world. We're already at $16 a gallon of petrol. The Prime Minister has warned us that who knows could remove the cap on the cost of petrol at the pump. Could be at least $20 even more within the next few days. So we are just alerting you. We are preparing you because definitely it appears that definitely down the road we'll be feeling the effects of that war in the Middle East, with Trump already saying that warning that a whole civilization will die tonight if Iran does not make a deal. And based on what we are hearing, based on what we are reading, Iran is not budging. It's not about to budge. It's not about to give in, because so far, considering it has been under attack from the 28th of last month, not last month was March, so the 28th of February up until now, it certainly has done better than many of us expected. Would have expected by now that Iran would have folded, would have given in. America would have had its way along with Israel, because it's basically 2 against 1. But the war that Iran is fighting right now It's one that was not anticipated. It's very unconventional. I mean, when in terms of military power, you are considered to be powerless, and you have to stand up to a giant, you definitely will be creative. You can't afford to play fair, and that is what Iran has done so far. So things could escalate. Dr. Samuel Thomas, St. Lucian economist and also trade advisor in the Ministry of Commerce. He was on a podcast, that's the Caribbean Business Review podcast, over the weekend, and he has been speaking about the implications of the war and the fact that its effect will be long term. Let's listen to him.
Given the damage, this type of strikes, the recovery time might be much longer than we may be thinking at this point, because the global infrastructure has never experienced what is being experienced now. It's not in one place. You have Iran, which is at the center of this conflict, but all the Gulf states in and around the Persian Gulf. And those that go with their products going for the Strait of Hormuz, a lot of the infrastructure, core infrastructure, which supports the trade and logistics of oil and other trade of petrochemicals and other hydrocarbons and so forth. Right. All of that has been affected and we're seeing choke points, where a significant percentage of some of products like, as you indicated, helium, ammonia and other things are now caught up in there and affecting things like fertilizer, food production, which is now another shock, another channel for which the trade effects of this will be reverberating for our economies. So I think you're right. The recovery time might be longer because of the extent of the damage. And so there might in fact be a global shift, and we may not come back to the same point we were at before the conflict, because the time to recover.
Trade advisor in the Ministry of Commerce, Dr. Samuel Thomas, speaking during a Caribbean Business Review podcast. And he's saying that the long-term implications definitely will be felt for us in this part of the world. Don't expect that the effects will be short-term. It will be long-term. Don't expect to hear that kind of thing coming from certain talk shows and certain programs and from the government of St. Lucia, because they believe to focus on those issues would be to their detriment. It's imprudent, it's unwise, to have that kind of discussion with the people of St. Lucia, to have an address to the nation on an all-important issue. After all, it will directly impact you. And our politicians have a tendency to focus on things that are impacting or affecting them, are liable to cause them to lose votes. So rest assured, at the last minute, you'll be hearing politicians anxiously calling on you to make certain sacrifices, calling on you to be patient. But were they ever in a position, did they ever put themselves in a position to prepare you for what is on the horizon? It's not a case of NewsSpin trying to scare you. We're just trying to deal with the reality, the possibilities. You remember when the Soviet Union, when Russia decided to launch that war against its neighbor, what transpired? The high cost of food items, and the Prime Minister did blame that war, and said that they could not have done anything about it. After all, it's a war between Russia and Ukraine, and we can't do anything about it. We agree, but it's very important that we prepare ourselves. And very often, when those increases hit us in the pocket, don't expect to get a reprieve. If, for example, the war ceases, and prior to that, there's an increase in the price of petrol at the pump, and the resulting effect would be the high price of different services and goods as a result. Normally, the experience is that as a result, we will not receive any kind of experience any kind of reduction in the cost of goods and services as a result of a war ceasing. It does not happen that way, and of course, you have had that experience time after time. During the course of the program, I'll share some information with you regarding the island's special prosecutor, appointed a few years ago to do what? Look into alleged criminal activities of certain individuals during the reign of the previous administration. A lot of people fool you into believing that, on the whole, the special prosecutor is there primarily to prosecute acts of corruption generally in St. Lucia involving members of the public service. No, they were targeting certain government ministers who would have been in office during the reign of the previous administration. So I have some information to share with you on that. The Caribbean community, as we speak, should have been uniting its members. And that is on a common front with regard to the challenges that we have been preparing you for in light of that war in the Middle East. It finds itself distracted as we speak. And again, those are not the discussions that you will hear on any other talk show in St. Lucia, because we are so parochial, focusing on things happening in Dennery and Ancillary alone, in Castries, etc. But there's a bigger issue that we have to focus on. Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister in particular, is taking umbrage with the reappointment of the Secretary General of CARICOM, Dr. Barnett, Carla Barnett, a Belizean. And the Prime Minister of Trinbago, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, is saying that her country was not consulted because, as far as the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas is concerned, such discussions should take place at the level of the heads. The heads met in St. Vincent towards the end of February, 26th, 27th of February, and there is a communique that was issued on the 1st of March regarding the decision to renew the contract of the CARICOM Secretary General. But according to her, Trinidad and Tobago was not privy to that decision. It was also not part of the decision-making process. So, a Trinidad and Tobago political analyst has been speaking on this, and she appeared on the TTT talk show earlier today. Her name is Indira Sajawan.
According to the Treaty of Chaguaramas, Article 24.1, the appointment or reappointment of the Secretary General, who is the person that manages the day-to-day operations of the CARICOM Secretariat that is located in Guyana, and that is really responsible for the administration of the entire process of CARICOM, the only entity that has the responsibility to either appoint or reappoint the Secretary General is the Heads of Government Conference. The most recent conference took place on the 26th and the 27th of February of 2026, that is this year, at which our Prime Minister was present. Following this meeting, a communique was released on March the 1st. And on March the 1st, that communique outlined all of the items that were discussed at that Heads of Government meeting and the decisions that were taken. And none of those items speak to the issue of the reappointment of the Secretary General. And so that suggests, therefore, that did not come up at the place where it should have come up, which is at the conference. Apparently, it would appear that this decision to reappoint the Secretary General took place at what followed, which was a retreat. Now, the Treaty of Chaguaramas doesn't even speak to the issue of a retreat. A retreat, as has come to be known, is something that people do in order to have discussions, for team building, for, maybe trashing out issues. But according to the Treaty of Chaguaramas, there is nothing like a retreat at which a decision like this is made. So the real issue is that a flawed process was used for the reappointment, and therefore the Prime Minister is justified in asking for clarification, because, CARICOM itself cannot go against its own guiding laws and regulation in terms of how it acts. So that, to me, is the first important issue that we must take on board.
Trinidad and Tobago political analyst. Let's hear from you right now at 452-2979. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. Forgot to ask you to please like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the NewsSpin YouTube channel grow. Let me hear from you again right now. Comments already in the chat room. Let's see if we have any of your comments to go through at this point in time. What are you saying that is worth sharing with the wider audience? And somebody says that, Tim, we are not feeling it yet because goods in stores were shipped before the oil increased. But what's coming is bigger, higher shipping costs, supply chain pressure, rising prices, and possible recession impacts. The real effects will show up in future shipments and everyday living costs. That's according to a WhatsApp message. And let's see if we have some more of your messages. And somebody simply says there, good afternoon, my dear. Good afternoon to you. And let's see if we have some more of your messages to go through. Another person simply saying good afternoon. That person is watching all the way from the United States. Okay, once again, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. There's information that is in circulation that I also should be sharing with you. And it's extracted from the www.gov.uk website, the website of the government of the UK, making reference to over £370 million sterling saved in crackdown on asylum claims by tourists. And that will include St. Lucia. And reference again is being made to the Citizenship by Investment program. And this was published on the website on the 5th of March 2026. So let me go through it right now while we are awaiting your calls at 452-2979 and WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And it says the St. Lucians will now need visas due to rising and disproportionately high asylum claims, as well as the threat to border security posed by the country's Citizenship by Investment program. This grants citizenship in exchange for a one-off payment of $240,000 to the St. Lucian government. And some people just do not want to hear that. They have erased from their minds any kind of possibility that a number of persons who are seeking asylum in the UK might be persons who got their St. Lucian citizenship via the CIP. But why is constant reference being made by the UK authorities to the disproportionately high asylum claims, as well as the threat to border security posed by the country's Citizenship by Investment program. They have totally ignored this in the case of St. Lucia. But in the case of the UK, they are seeing this as a possible link. You know, in St. Lucia, sometimes depending on which political party that is in office, we form our opinions on that basis. But there's something called reality. And unfortunately, for some people, the reality is that we in St. Lucia, we have not been as effective as possible in policing the CIP, the Citizenship by Investment Program, and ensuring that our passports are not handed over to people who have questionable motives, questionable characters, and people who are likely to use our citizenship and our passports to engage in illegal acts that would certainly bring shame to St. Lucia and, of course, would sully its reputation as a result. So sometimes we want to ignore the facts, but as much as some of you might not want to refer to it, it is worth going through that piece of information on the website, the UK government's website, www.gov.uk. All right, let's see if we have any of your WhatsApp messages to go through. Once again, the number to call is 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And somebody says via WhatsApp, "Good day, Tim. I am asking the Prime Minister or the government of St. Lucia to look into these atrocities that are happening at the St. Lucian consulate over in Martinique. People are being victimized by certain individuals. Numerous complaints have been presented to the PS with responsibility for the consulate office, but nothing is being done. Mr. Prime Minister, please intervene in this matter ASAP. People are not to be treated in such a manner when you are being paid to assist us only living luxurious lifestyle while we suffer. Please help." And that's according to a WhatsApp message. Let's take a WhatsApp call. Good afternoon to you. You're on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, caller, good afternoon to you.
There?
I'm okay? Okay, maybe you have forgotten.
Okay, the reason why
Maybe you have forgotten. But for the 100th time, sir, turn down the volume of whatever device you are using.
The reason why I call this afternoon, Tim.
Caller, turn down the volume of whatever device you are using to listen to the program. It's causing a feedback.
Really low, Tim.
No, let's turn it off. Now? Turn it off. Yeah, go ahead, please.
It's better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, the reason why I called, because I heard you said something about probably the petrol will be going up to $20. You know?
No. I'm
but
saying.
What I have to say.
Hold on, caller. Be very careful. I'm being exceptionally careful. I don't want people to say that I'm spreading misinformation or disinformation. I'm just saying, and the Prime Minister himself also said that possibly he will be removing the cap on petrol within the next few days or few weeks if the trend continues. So I'm just saying. It's at $16 now. It could reach as high as $20 for what you know.
20.
It could be. I'm just saying the possibility does exist, but it's not a fact. I don't have any information before me to say that. Yes.
I understand you.
Yes,
but
sir.
what I have to say on that, remember when the UWP was in power? No, in opposition. You know, in the first election, then Labour get into power, the last election, and now. Remember the UWP was telling the government to bring down the petrol because it's a bit too high?
Yeah.
Bring it down because the price of the gas was very cheap over there. You know? But Philip JP and his Zagabo never did that. What they did, they take a lot of money from you all, them drivers, you know? You'll have to pay this, you'll have to pay that. They never did it. They ignore us. They ignore the public of St. Lucia. The drivers, the taxi drivers, all drivers who paying their fee for the road, etc., etc. Now, as you said a while ago, which we don't know, as you said, the copy might remove it and the petrol might go a little higher. Tim, if this guy had listened to the UWP, by now he would not have any problem. But if he had to bring it up for $16 for now, because probably it would have bring it down to $14, you know. But if he had listened, now he would not have no problem. And he would just think, okay, I'm bringing it back to $16. Now Lucians would agree with that, you know. But now, because of that problem happening in the Middle East, and as he said, the cap, he might remove it now or tomorrow or day after tomorrow, then the prices of gas will increase in this country. You know, going up to $20, probably a little more than $20, 21. You know, so I think this guy, they call Philip J. You know, he didn't listen to the opposition. He did not listen to the opposition. And he did not listen because I was listening to your program, Tim, listening to your program, and there are people that call your program and said to bring down the petrol because the price up there was about $50-something a barrel. But he never did it. And now, as things is rising up that road here, up there, you know, now he said he might take out the cap and blah, 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 and to bring the petrol up. Tim, okay? Thank you for that opportunity, my brother.
Okay, so you're welcome. Thank you so much for calling. And I don't think it's a case of the government did not listen to the opposition, because when you put things that way, obviously that would give provide the government and the St. Lucia Labour Party in particular with some kind of fodder, and they'll react to it in a political manner. I think it is a case of the people of St. Lucia. It was a case of consumers, vehicle owners saying, give us a break, give us some kind of reprieve at the pump. And the Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for finance, I remember, not even addressing the issue. For him, it was a decision that was taken that did not warrant any kind of explanation, even when people were clamoring for a reprieve at the pump. 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, Tim, here again, like Chokda sang in the song, CARICOM is now CARIGO. Do you remember that song? Based on the statement from the Trinidad political analyst, CARICOM making a decision without all Prime Minister's input and involvement. We also heard of the MOA signed with the U.S. on the acceptance of third country citizens. I've asked what was CARICOM's position and whether the individual member states signed separate agreements. Tim, I asked the most monitored talk show in the world to find out from our government, where is that agreement and what are the details? Well, obviously the Prime Minister does not feel or believe that he should be providing you with further information on this, because remember he said that this is a memorandum of agreement, of understanding, MOU, and his government has not committed itself to taking in those third country nationals. Now, this issue was incidentally addressed just last week by the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy Antoine, and we tried to get that clip because we did not play it, but we had it scheduled, I think, for last week, either Wednesday or Thursday. And I found it quite interesting that the governor of the central bank, Mr. Timothy Antoine, said that possibly we could make use of those individuals if they have certain skills. Because I remember him saying that, for example, there was a shortage of plumbers, electricians, and so on. But you would realize and remember that we in St. Lucia, over the last several decades, we have become very opposed. We have not been welcoming of so-called foreigners from regional countries. Those people want to ply their trade in St. Lucia, particularly if they're coming from certain territories. If they're coming from Haiti, we don't want them. If they are coming from Guyana, we don't want them. To a certain extent, if they're coming from Jamaica, we take objection. But why should this be the rationale for accepting nationals who are deported from the United States? They are not nationals of St. Lucia being deported to their homeland. They may be coming from, Central America, maybe Latin America, and so on. And the U.S. does not want to take any kind of responsibility for them. The U.S., with all its resources, its land mass, it is basically, I think, from our vantage point, imposing those people on us. Because it's very interesting what is happening behind the scenes, what is being discussed behind closed doors. Never mind, I think I even read recently that the National Security Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is saying that the U.S. has said that if countries like St. Lucia and St. Vincent and Dominica decide not to accept those third country deportees, that the U.S. will not take any kind of action against us. Your guess is as good as mine as to whether Donald Trump will not see that as a slight, as some kind of disrespect, and therefore he don't want to take action against us, because we know what kind of individual that Donald Trump is. But let's listen to the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank addressing this issue of countries like St. Lucia accepting third country refugees onto its shores.
So the ECCB has no jurisdiction on immigration. All right? We don't decide immigration policy. That's for our governments to decide. I think some of our governments recognize if it's carefully managed, there may be opportunities to bring some skills. And therefore, that's what I assume they will look. So I gather the numbers are not going to be large numbers, but some days it's hard to find a good plumber. Just saying. So my point is that a few skilled people could make a big difference in a small country. And my hope would be that that program would be managed in such a way that we can bring some skills. Now, I also understand in some cases that these people are coming to pass, they are passing through. They're not coming to stay. I learned that recently when I was in the U.S. We had some discussions with the Department of Homeland Security on the biometrics program. And what I discovered is that a lot of these people may not stay. They may to go back to their country of origin. But I'm saying if they choose to stay, we want skills. So that would be the position of the central bank. And of course, it has to be managed with care. But again, we have no direct influence on that. Immigration policy is a matter for the sovereign, that's our countries. And I'm sure they're looking at it very carefully. And I know they're trying to look at it collectively so that they can take a joint approach to this important and sensitive matter.
All that information that the governor of the ECCB is privy to. What about you? Are you aware of what he just said there, that countries like St. Lucia would just be used as a conduit for those nationals just pass through and maybe end up in some other country? And unfortunately, a lot of citizens, they're not interested in eliciting that kind of information from their leaders, because whatever decision that the leaders will take in their name, they will see it as justifiable. Because after all, our leaders were given huge mandates. They were elected into office to act on behalf of the people, in this case of St. Lucia. And therefore, we cede our good conscience, we cede whatever authority we have as citizens, we give them carte blanche to act on our behalf. It was just a few weeks ago that you heard from the Prime Minister on this issue, and so far we have not received any updates from him, as if this issue has been placed on the back burner. But it'd be very interesting to find out what decision has been taken by the government of St. Lucia regarding those third country deportees. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Somebody says, good afternoon. Why that man take them in his home after the Caribbean can help their own? You think things will be better with all the killings going on in St. Lucia? Another WhatsApp message, and somebody says that Tim here again. Okay, I think I read that one already. Person says he's the governor of the central bank. Why is he saying that to people when he has direct access to the prime ministers and could ask them directly before saying that gabble to the people? That is according to a WhatsApp message. Another WhatsApp message says that all of the leaders of the Caribbean islands are afraid of Trump. They now ask him and do whatever he asks. Yeah, I think so. It appears it's not even about diplomacy. I think it is all about the leaders in the Caribbean community are afraid of possible fallout if they say things that are considered to be undiplomatic, if whatever message that they convey through their utterances, those are misconstrued as, the country like St. Lucia wanting to use its sovereignty, to act on behalf of its people and the government, then the United States will therefore say to itself that, especially the president again, that you are not on my side, and therefore certain actions must be taken against you, such as maybe increasing the tariff on some of the items that you would be exporting to the United States, and even worse yet, impose punitive action against those same government officials and prime ministers. Who knows? Impose visa restrictions on them, because I think they are very much afraid of those visa restrictions landing on their lap. I mean, they've had instances where government officials and government ministers have lost their visas, and we have experienced those individuals basically pleading with the U.S. authorities for their reinstatement. And not only in one case in St. Lucia, but it had this happening in Jamaica as well. So those leaders are playing it safe. They do not want to feel the wrath of the United States and the president in particular. 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. Still to come, we have some information to share with you regarding the special prosecutor. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It's called NewsSpin, and it's on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel.
Advance your career at Lightspark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street, Castries, Lightspark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
What happens when the music is stripped down to the truth? On April 29th, First National Bank presents the Teddyson John Experience at the luxurious Royalton Resorts. Raw vocals, live music, real emotion, an intimate night where Teddyson John opens the heart of the music. Also from Trinidad and Tobago, featuring Nyla Blackman. From St. Lucia, Michael Robinson. Herb Black. I'm so sorry. Umpa. And Ricky T. sharing their stories behind the songs and connects with you up close. This is more than a concert. It's a feeling. Stripped, April 29th. Royalton Resorts, limited seats. One unforgettable night. It's definitely my type of night and my type of vibes.
Tickets for this event are $100 USD, food and drinks inclusive. Ticket locations: Anthony's Jewelry, Castries and Baywalk, The Wave, and online 4circlestickets.com.
A newly renovated home is a special feeling, and lighting can be a big part of that. Like the LED seasonal lights many now use for energy saving and safety over the holidays. It's worth the effort to install LED lights everywhere, and you don't have to be an expert to change a bulb. Remember to turn off all lights when not in use. This includes LED lights. Saving energy is what's smart.
Ouais, messieurs, pas jodi moi la ka espérer plein bon glow, hein. Si t'en la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, mais money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. Yo ni toute pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pomme cette ici. Yo ka ranger pomme aussi qui besoin service. Brand pump yo c'est Léo. Pump ça c'est major. I bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moi actuellement. Glo ka fante. Europa ni pump glo Léo en pour les nerfs, orange et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452-0763.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tunes. Call us in Vidboutet at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
So fast pay on you an easy way to pay. So fast pay. So fast pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
So fast pay. 2 minutes and you're on your way. So fast pay. So fast pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique du Corps, because time is vital in health.
Experience the rhythm. Feel the soul. Welcome to Jazz of Viège 2026. Set against the breathtaking beauty of Point Viège in Micoud, where lush cliffs meet the ocean blue. Presented by First National Bank. Headlining the action, international reggae icon Luciano. Sharing the stage, Meshack. Michael Robinson. Level 4. All backed by the Impulse Band and more. Early bird tickets $100, regular $125, VIP experience $300. Ticket outlets The Cell, Nice Gas Station in Miku, Rosemadin, 4circletickets.com. Sunday, April 26. Gates open at 1 p.m., showtime 3 p.m. Jazz of Years is powered by 4 Circle Tickets. Wear white, don't miss it.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadhu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor, though it must bear the brunt of the burden of investigating and prosecuting corrupt conduct among public officers, would miss the mark if it acts as a lone ranger in search of corrupt conduct by public officers and officials. The office may only initiate an investigation upon credible complaints from those of you who know of a live fire of corrupt conduct, or of one in the process of being lit, or who has knowledge of the arsonist responsible for smoldering corrupt conduct. Unless you share your knowledge with the Office of the Special Prosecutor, you make it more difficult for the anti-corruption efforts of the government to bear tangible and visible fruit.
The special prosecutor, this clip extracted from an address delivered in 2025. So that clip was played on NewsSpin in January of last year, calling on you, the citizens of the country, to help him prosecute individuals in high office in the public service who might have committed acts of corruption. But that's not what the impression that was created by the Senusha Labour Party government when it appointed Mr. Robert Innocent to the post. Because the administration gave the impression, even while it was in opposition, that yes, acts of corruption were committed by the previous administration, and once they got into office, those people will be held liable. They would be prosecuted, and probably they would serve jail time. So the prosecutor is appointed, and then he calls on you, ordinary Joe Blow, ordinary citizens, you're not so well connected, to provide him with the evidence. He has been there from 2023, November of 2023. This November will be 3 years. Not one guy has been arrested, charged, hauled before the courts, sent to prison. Not one guy. So my information is Mr. Robert Innocent's contract was renewed for 2 years because it started in November of 2023 and it went on to November of 2025. All right, that's 2 years, given a 2-year contract. That contract was renewed in January of 2026. January of this year. This time for 1 year. Why only 1 year? That will end in January of next year. We're already into the 4th month of 2026. What will happen between now and January of 2027? Who will be arrested? Who will be prosecuted? So all that time, my good friend has been in office. earning thousands upon thousands of dollars. The question is, what does he have to show for the money earned? I'm not in a position to tell you that there are people who are about to be arrested and charged and prosecuted, etc. As far as I'm aware, and you are aware too, no one has been arrested, no one has been charged, and as far as we are aware, for the foreseeable future, no one will be sent to the Bordelais Correctional Facility. So appointed in November of 2023 for 2 years. His contract expired last November, and it was renewed this past January of 2026, this time for 1 year. 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. And let's see if we have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, Tim, why are you torturing us? The SLP said they had appointed the individual. We thought he had information. Chico made some complaints against the same accusers, but his complaints were shut down by him stating that actions happened before the passing of the act. Tim, remind all St. Lucians of that atrocity. He has nothing, and he never had. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have a call on the landline. In the meantime, we have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says, good afternoon to you and all the listeners. Tim, this government does not care about people in St. Lucia. They will never bring down the gas. They will always bring it up. God is in control, and have a pleasant day. Thank you so much for that WhatsApp message. Okay, let's see if we have some more of your messages to go through. Somebody says there, Tim, I'm from the St. Lucian diaspora in Canada, and one of the things I can attest to is that accepting refugees without a plan really impacts the country negatively in all areas, most importantly, collapsing the healthcare system. Remember, these individuals have been incarcerated under poor conditions or may not have gone to doctor for a long time. Though they pay out of pocket when they are sick, we say go home and die. Also, they are also not coming alone. They are going to be sending for the Nenen and Pawens. Their roots isn't our homeland. They will invest and focus on their homes. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. You are on the air. This is NewsSpin.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
So, imagine in 2026, we have a sports minister boasting how he was able to bring island chums to Castries, to go Grosile, to go and run, or children to go and run on dirt where they obviously cannot make the times that would require to be competitive regionally. Today I am hearing St. Lucia placed 10th in CARICOM, winning 1 gold and 3 bronze or 1 silver and 2 bronze, something like that. Tim, you see, until now, a lot of people will not like it, but until we do not stop that nonsense that is going in St. Lucia regarding Castries versus G4, this thing will not stop. We ought to get our best athletes team to represent us. Okay? How you have schools in the south, okay, with athletes that are running times that are better than athletes representing us in CARICOM. Make it make sense to me. How will we ever develop in sports when, okay, our best athletes get sidelined because they don't have a Nenen and Pawen to represent them in Castries, okay, and to propel them to go forward? You understand? We have well-known sportsmen from the south who, I must say, I'm a bit disappointed because they could have also been instrumental in helping those athletes from the South to excel team. But even they too, their focus is on castries. We need to stop this thing in this country, team. We need to make it one country and not a castries versus Beaufort thing. If you do not come from the north, or if you come from the south and you do not get to go and play for a team in the north, you will not go anywhere in St. Lucia. Team, it's high time we stop that. I just felt I needed to recognize, say that team. And one thing, there's somebody I need to recognize. And I think that will be my focus going forward, team. I don't know if you ever heard of this gentleman, Judge James. He's the brother of Asin James.
Mm-hmm.
I need to recognize this gentleman for his work in education.
He's a statistician, right? I think he worked with the Ministry of Education at some point in time. I know Mr.
I need
James.
to recognize him because he had one of the math textbooks we were using in our school.
Yes, Viacom.
And I believe people like this man have contributed significantly to our education. And I just want to mention his name today in recognizing him for his work. He's actually my cousin, but not just that, but he has done enough to be recognized. Have a good day.
You too, sir. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's see if we have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says they're not even Guy Joseph. I don't know what you're talking about there. Another WhatsApp message, by the way, where are the persons that the police commissioner said will be raided and assets seized? Well, they give the police commissioner some time. His contract was just renewed for 2 years. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. There was a famous talk show host flashing documents of corruption. Why doesn't he present that information to the special prosecutor? Call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Fouet.
Ça café, bon après-midi, monsieur.
Bam nouvelle.
Mala, piam, mala.
Jante, Saudi Jal.
She's not too well today. She's taking the day off.
All right. All the best to you, Jante. Tim, in the eternal words of Mr. Luben, aka Dicky, the special prosecutor is the yoke of mediocrity. You thought people will understand what I mean. He's the yoke of mediocrity, Tim.
Now I will defend the man. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You place an ad. I applied for the job. I got it. You told me that I should go out there to kill some cockroaches. You'll pay me something like, let's say $10,000-$15,000 a month. Took the job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm well trained in that area. And I did not get any. You want to blame me? And you told me, boy, keep searching. I'll renew your contract for another year. Keep searching. I'll continue. That's what's happening there.
I can't blame the man. The man have bills. The man have a family to take care of. I won't take an easy job like that too.
So don't call the man incompetent. Nah, I will not accept that.
I never said he was incompetent.
Don't suggest
Maybe
it.
I should rephrase what I.
Yeah, don't suggest.
His office then, not him personally. His office is the yoke of mediocrity.
No, the man was no.
I apologize.
The man was given a job. He has performed his job. He's performed his duties.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyways, Tim, allow me to move on. So since we're recognizing people, now would be the appropriate time for me to recognize a stalwart in our community of Beaufort North. Piero, to be exact. Big up Daddy Alloy. Piero people will know who I'm talking about. Beaufortians will know who I'm talking about.
Okay. What is his claim to fame?
A man who had the foresight to understand that potable water is important and it's not just a luxury, it's a human right. Daddy Alloy, when Wasco was not giving anybody water in Piero, Daddy Alloy took it upon himself to dam a spring that came out from under a little breadfruit tree in the heights in Piero and to bring water to our public standpipe. He even took his own time, Tim, free of charge to chlorinate the water and store it properly to ensure that the children of Peru had proper drinking water. At this time, I'd like to big up Daddy Alloy, and Wasco should take a cue from Daddy Alloy.
Is it still alive? Is it still alive?
Yes, Daddy Alloy is probably 91, 92.
Okay.
He's still alive, but in that age is.
All right.
Anyways, Tim, Lord Cote. I know beef is normally a main course, but right now we're gonna have to take our beef a la carte. We're gonna have to leave the cow problem in Vieux-Fort on a side and focus on how the Labour Party has continually to betray Vieux-Fort South, and how the people of Vieux-Fort South and Vieux-Fort North refuse to see that we are in 2026 and small projects and small things are not what we need. We need capital projects. We need big projects that's gonna open the St. Lucian economy and push us forward. Because right now, as it sits, the economy doing good. When you talk to people on the ground, sir, I need this, I need that, I don't have money for this, I don't have money for that. So I cannot understand how the economy is doing good and the people themselves are not doing good. The other complaint I have, Tim, is what did the government do with our dredging fees for the past 5 years? You charge the entire island, even those who do not benefit from that dam. You charge them dredging fees. How much money did you pick up and where did the money go? What did you or Wasco do with the money? Because if for the last 4 years, 5 years, you haven't been doing any dredging or anything on the dam and you've been collecting a fee, where is the money? And that is a common question we have to ask in our country all the time. Where our CIP money, where our NLA loan money go, where our $10 million to build housing go. We always have to, where the money you took from the Saudis, so much money, so many loans and grants, and we're not seeing it translating into anything major in the country. You still have Slasper having to pay to fix both where you already sold our patronage. What's going on? What's going on, Tim? Our healthcare is a mess. Things that are not supposed to be political, Tim, like healthcare, Everybody is supposed to demand better healthcare. I don't care how good the Canadian healthcare system is, Tim. I still advocate for more beds at the hospitals, shorter waiting times in the emergency rooms, more doctors, more specialty doctors, Tim. You can never have a perfect healthcare system until we have found medicine to make human beings immortal. So there is always room for improvement. Even though the Canadian healthcare system is among the top in the world, top tier in terms of cancer research, cancer treatment, and everything you can think about, Tim, we as Canadian citizens, we still demand more. It does not matter who you voted for. When it comes to healthcare, everybody is united. I don't see how in St. Lucia healthcare is a political issue. Everybody has benefits from healthcare. The government not giving you proper healthcare, but because you voted for them or because you support them, you don't join with your brothers and sisters and match against it and say, hey, this is crap. We need better. We can do better. And you guys have the duty of care. And you should provide us with better than what we are getting. I don't care how good, and let me repeat, I don't care how good your healthcare system is. You always need more beds. You always need more doctors. You always need more specialists. I mean, come on. I don't have to say it and repeat it again. I need the people of my country to wake up. We say it doesn't have to be violent. If you don't get up and fight for your rights, you will not get any. The only rights you get are the rights that you fight for, Tim, in this world. Anyway, big up Senior Rigobert. Anyway, sit down, stand up, all the down in the world. You have yourself a great day, Tim.
You too, sir.
Right,
thank you so much for calling. Calling from the diaspora over in Canada. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says there was not one, but about 4 talk show hosts flying documents daily on their shows, telling people about corruption by the government at the time. Where have these documents gone? Pajua comes to mind. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see there if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody says, Tim, where are they now? Where are the people we used to be calling corruption? SLP, where are you now? And the person continues, Tim Attacks was charged on to help with the HIA development. Some millions were already collected. What happened to that money? Was monitored. Ask the questions on our behalf. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says that Tim, they should investigate the CIP. No evidence of corruption by the former administration could be identified. Is there? We would like to be informed. Okay, let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages. Remember the number to call once again, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. We have some more information to share with you. Over the last few days, DBS has reported at least 3 containers sliding off the flatbed trailer trucks. Well, on Saturday, somebody sent me a video, and we'll try to put it on the screen, those of you watching via Facebook and YouTube, because there was yet, well, not another incident, but yet more evidence that those containers are not being properly secured on the flatbed trailer trucks. Just take a look. You know, this is not secured at all, but it is on our road. The person who sent it told me that the truck was actually traveling in the Bexon area, and you could see there, you know, it's not properly balanced. It is shaking, and who knows if the driver were to drive at a particular speed, a little faster, and swerve while taking a corner, this whole thing can collapse. So again, that is for the authorities. You know, you see what's happening there? That is for the police. That is for the Truckers Association. Please take note. Our responsibility on this broadcast is to prevent accidents and tragedies of that nature from occurring. You have sufficient evidence to again prove that we have a problem on our hands. People are too negligent, and you have to deal with this particular situation. So we have provided you with the evidence. Here's hoping that you will attend to this issue as soon as possible. Let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says they're crazy. This last caller said in Canada is the top healthcare system. That is not really. So many people are coming to us from Canada to be treated. I used to live in Canada for a long time, and I'm telling you personal experience that could never be true. Canada health system sucks. The government controlled your health, and government control your health is not good. But I think what the caller was saying, that even if it is of a high standard in Canada, the healthcare system is of a high standard in Canada, and I think I've not been to Canada, not experienced the quality of the healthcare there, but one can, based on what we're reading, based on what we're experiencing in St. Lucia, one can readily agree that at least it's better than what we are getting on the island right now. What the caller said is that even though it's of a high standard, the expectation is always for it to improve even further, far less what we are getting right now in St. Lucia. All right, let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says they also made a video of that truck, drove behind it from Tomazo, down the Badlil. The container was only fastened properly by 2 of those hooks, one in the front and one in the back. The flatbed was obviously warped. So the authorities, the evidence is there and we are providing it on this program. We don't only identify issues, but we provide you the evidence of what we are talking about. Somebody says that this is a 45-foot container. This does not say that the container is not latched. If you realize there are 2 latch ribs, the 40-inch latch is seated in the place and the extra sits past the latch. All right, that's for the experts to address this issue. Another person says there via WhatsApp, you've got to wonder about the lack of concern when you see those containers traveling down our streets without care. Another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, good afternoon. The island has recorded another homicide over in Peru, VA4 North. I heard about this incident, did not have any kind of evidence. Somebody told me that there was a fatal stabbing which occurred maybe a couple of days ago over in Peru, VA4 North. Another WhatsApp message. Somebody says that Tim, the body they got at Canal, they said the person drowned and the body wasn't found nowhere near the beach, St. Lucia finish. And that's according to a WhatsApp message. Guess who's on the WhatsApp platform? Good afternoon to you, sir. You are on the air.
3-time journalist of the year. Tim,
Mr. Bermuda, good afternoon to you, sir. What's on your mind?
let me say this to you.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda coming for you. Amanda coming for you, boy. She's the Brian Lara now. You realize that?
I've had my time, sir.
Okay, that's fair enough, I like that reply.
Yeah.
I like that reply. You realize that since you stay here for when you're speaking a lot of sense?
Since what?
Since you stay away from Rick Wayne, I think you're speaking a lot of sense these days.
What about you and Rick Wayne, Connor? Why are you making Rick Wayne an issue? I mean,
because he talks a lot of garbage.
You'll have your disagreement. You'll don't see eye to eye on certain things, Connor, and that is okay.
Okay, let me leave Rick Wayne alone. Let me go where I go in. Tim, tell me something. Could you see? I ask you. Let's say a stupid question for once. Could you see your favorite Prime Minister, Madam Mia Motley, spending $500 million on hospital and it can't open?
In Barbados? Well, if she does that in Barbados, number one, it will not be accepted. And forget the opposition political party, the DLP. But we have a very active civil society in Barbados, and you have a number of people who care about what's happening in their country. Well-read individuals would be speaking out. Independent thinkers of that will be speaking out against her. I don't know whether she will do it or not, but I know if she does it or if she did it, what would happen? What would be the outcome?
Tim, $500 million is $500 million, you know. $500 million, you know, man. And you cannot open a hospital? What they need another they need another $500 million to make it $1 billion? Tim, you know what I think? These guys they really want to open that hospital, you know, they're playing with solutions. You know how long has people been fooling solutions? Since the days of the great Sir John Compton.
Politicians from both sides have done that, sir.
No, I don't think. No.
And some more than others, but politicians from both sides have done that.
Tim, I was a Labour. Tim, you will never see Sir George Odlum, Peter Josie, Sir Kenneth Foster, and those guys do the crap and the rubbish that these guys ain't doing. You will never let them see that. You know that too. You know that, Tim. Those guys want to stand for that nonsense, boy. all kind of corruption. You got a man like Richard Frederick down there. Richard Frederick was housing minister again under Sir John. Housing minister under Stephen the King. Richard housing minister under Philip Pierre twice. And the man built 3 high-rise buildings in January for sure. And people keep voting for that man. I'm gonna give you some condos in Calisac. Then he moved from Calisac and put it to the north. Frederick, where you gonna put it? Where you going next, Frederick? Where you going next? And these people just let these guys fool them all the time. The great Sir Michael Shastey had the plan for solution, you know, man. The old hospital for teachers, doctors, and nurses. Right? The top floor of the new hospital. Tourism, tourism investment, something. I can't remember exactly what it was. And the bottom floors. 3 hospitals in one, you know, man. Solutions were booming, you know, man. These guys put up pillars of a state-of-the-art terminal in the fort, you know, man. These guys ain't easy, you know, man. And they just give us solution a lot of talk. And the solution saying, yeah, and a whoosh. These guys are the worst government in the history of the world. The worst of the Amin, I can tell you that. The worst of Mugabe. And they're getting worse, Tim. They're getting worse. You spent $500 million on a hospital and you can't open it? Really? And you run out of water in the rainy season? That's comedy. This guy run out of water. Not even water they can provide for the country in the rainy season. Not drought, you know, man. Not drought, you know, Tim. You know, whenever that SFB bogus guy get a power.
But we're not in the rainy season, eh?
Tim, you're short of rain. You get a lot of rain, Tim. You know, like one time you're gonna.
But we're not in the.
I don't know.
We're not in the rainy season.
It's not like one time rain falling in Barbados and not in Dominica and that kind of place we don't know. I know my rain falling in St. Lucia. Because there's high tech now, dealing with high tech. And these people get fooled from way back. They're still getting fooled in 2026. And most likely in 2030 with the next election call again. A lot of talk. Business call it dry talk. Tim, I was in Barbados the other day. I can be honest with you. Tim, I can tell you the truth. The area is to live, Tim. I just been there for about 3 years. About 5 years. Tim, about 5 years. Tim, I was lost. Certain areas I knew. In the village I used to live. Certain areas I knew. Certain areas up to now I know. Up to now, Tim. And I was so ashamed. I ain't saying nothing to the boys. I ain't saying nothing. But lucky for me, a guy that grew up in the area that's older than me, I said to him, boy, the place changed. He lives in America. He said, boy, if the place changed, I said, listen, there was some places that was kind of lost here in the area. The man said, you too? I said, well, you had the problem too? He said, yeah. I had the problem. Tim, it's not a big area, you know, Tim. Not a big area. Tim, I was lost. I was frat. Could you believe it? 5 years, you know, or less than 5 years. I said, my God, you don't mean what you're saying? Catch me if you can. Catch me if you can. And we ain't catching her now. The only person I can see catching her was the great Sir Michael Shastey. The man bleeding inside, you know. This man, Sir Alan Michael Shastry, bleeding inside to take solution forward, man. To make solution in gem in the Caribbean, man. He ain't tell me nothing. I know.
Okay, Colin, we have to end it
I'm
there.
not looking for nothing.
Thank you so much.
Looking for nothing for him.
Thank you.
Huh?
Thank you, Bermuda. We have to take a commercial break. The broadcast will continue in just a moment with our NewsSpin question of the day, and then we'll conclude. This is the most monitored talk show in the world.
Advance your career at Lightspark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street, Castries, Lightspark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
First National Bank is here for you. Let's make your first wish come true. With a mortgage built around you, tailored to make sure everything's smooth. 100% financing, it's true. Get a first wish mortgage, it's the best move. Get your mortgage now and fulfill your first wish. Just knowing that First National Bank is here for you. Let's make your first wish come true.
Visit your First National Bank branch or firstnationalbankonline.com to apply for your first wish mortgage.
La Clinique du Corps leads the Caribbean in advanced MRI, aligned with globally recognized standards. Avoid overseas stress, delays, and cancelled scans. Reports in 24 to 48 hours. No translation, no overseas processing. Your doctor receives your imaging directly for seamless continuity of care. All major insurance accepted. Call 451-6559. Once again, 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950. The WhatsApp number 721-9950.
Need branded apparel that looks sharp and shows up on time? Welcome to Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts. We specialize in custom embroidery and t-shirt printing for businesses, teams, events, you name it. From embroidered logos on polished Oxford shirts, available in a variety of colors for men and women, to bold, high-quality printed tees that turn heads, we do it all. Bring your own shirts or choose from ours. Small runs, big orders, rush jobs, no problem. At Imprinted Designs, we're built for speed, efficiency, and clean professional results delivered on time, every time. So if you want your brand to stand out, not wait around, come down to Imprinted Designs at the Valmore Plaza or hit us up at 451-2920 or email address imprinteddesignsSLU@gmail.com. Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts.
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliotheque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road, V4 at 454-6555.
Stop paying full price. With Flow, you can slash your bill in half. You heard right. Cut your mobile bill in half when you add mobile to internet. That's the most reliable Wi-Fi at home. Plus, all the data you need on the go. So don't wait. Double your connection and double your value for half the price. Add mobile to internet today. Visit in-store or online at discoverflow.co for more details.
Bob and Dave were very proud to buy their mom a new energy-saving fridge with lots of smart settings. They remember the old ways of energy saving. Mom always said, Close the fridge. You're wasting current. Smart advice then. Smart advice now. Close the fridge. You're wasting current. Saving energy is what's smart.
Art in the City is back, rooted in culture, bold in expression. Brought to you by the Cultural Development Foundation. On Friday, April 17th, the celebration begins in Beaufort, Art in the Street, at the New Market Complex from 10 a.m., followed by readings and rhythms at 7 p.m. On April 24th and 25th, indulge in the Icon Series, 4-course gala dinner at Sandals Grand, honoring culinary master Edward Chef Harry Joseph. On April 26th and 27th, theater lovers gather at Warehouse 11 for Don't Call Me Baby Doll, written and directed by Travis Weeks. Or head to the Caribbean Cinemas for screenings from the Jumpstart Film Project. From April 27th to May 16th, experience Life in Color, a visual arts exhibition at the Audi Showroom and Orange Grove Plaza, featuring works by St. Lucian master artists. On April 28th, the stage comes alive at Sandals Grand with 10 to 1, the Mighty Sparrow musical, produced by Raul Gibbons and directed by Louis McWilliams. On May 1st, journey to Ancillary for Fish Friday, an evening of storytelling with George Fish Alphonse and Kidel Sonny. May 2nd and 3rd, experience Triptych, directed by Kendall Hippolyte at Warehouse 11. On Monday 4th, feel the power of poetry at Voices of the Underground, featuring world-renowned dub poet Linton Kwesi Johnson. From May 5th to 7th, Artscape concerts pop up in unexpected spaces, dance, theater, music. And on May 7th and 8th, discover handcrafted treasures at T-Tax ABC, Craft and Souvenir Market. On the Rodney Bay Strip, Art in the City 2026, rooted in culture, bold in expression.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Time now for our NewsSpin question of the day. It reads, how prepared are you for a possible increase in the price of petrol? How prepared are you for a possible increase in the price of petrol? That's the NewsSpin question of the day. Well, we have just sufficient time. Let me see if I could go through some of your WhatsApp messages. Just please stand by as we try to do that right now. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, good day, Tim. The Ministry of Infrastructure has no respect for the St. Lucian public who has to pay their license fees, etc. This morning, I went to the ministry. There's a long line, which means no entry. A long chain, sorry, which means no entry. Security sat in the booth, not a word. Parked at the lower end, walked towards the building only to see a sign, we closed. The ministry should know they are serving the public. And it says there, shame. A WhatsApp message. Let's see if I have some more of your messages as we're getting all set to conclude another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. Somebody says that Mr. Bermuda is too arrogant. Another one says via WhatsApp, good day, Tim. Tell Wasco Plateau matters and we need water. It's frustrating to see after petition it's the same thing. The folks of Wasco, of Plateau, once again, they are crying out for water, Wasco. I've heard that a farmer from Barbano suffered a devastating loss when 17 of his animals were attacked. We should be having more information on that to share with you during our broadcast tomorrow, God willing. Somebody says that, Tim, it's true, there was a murder in Peru last evening. I am from the community. And let's see. They should have freight check stations where inspectors do safety check documentation against freight. It's on a side away from the traffic and requires signed paperwork for the truck to continue onto its destination. That's according to a WhatsApp message. And that's it as far as another edition of NewsSpin. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening and contributing via your calls and your WhatsApp messages and your discussions in the chat rooms. We were not able to go through those comments because Jante is not feeling too well today and she's unavailable. no doubt wishing her speedy recovery and hoping that she'll be back tomorrow to commence her assignment. So thank you so much for listening once again. My name is Timothy Poleon. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the NewsSpin channel grow. My name is Timothy Poleon saying goodbye.